Have you been following the proposed Jay Leno's law here in California? This law would have eliminated millions of dollars of fees for people who collect vintage vehicles and affect the California car culture in such a way that a lot of these vehicles would be leaving the state. For the last 15 years, we've been following all the new legislation and proposed rules that affect our automotive industry. And today, we're going to get into it and discuss what happened to Jay Leno's law. Rich, what is Jay Leno's law?
Well, that is California Senate Bill 712, SB 712, and it was proposed exemption for collector cars, 35-year model and older, to be exempt from California's biennial, which is every other year, smog program. And the proposed exemption also would eliminate, if you buy a collector vehicle, when you're registering it, you wouldn't have to have the smog certification at that time of registration.
So in its current form, it did not pass.
Unfortunately, about a week back, it didn't pass the mustard, so to speak.
Yeah. Who backed the bill? Who proposed it?
That was a senator, Republican senator in Bakersfield, Shannon Grove. She was the senator who proposed the bill.
Right. So I'm hearing that it wasn't getting a lot of traction until Jay Leno stepped in, put his name behind it, and then created widespread support.
Oh, absolutely.
Got through committee and even it was supported by SEMA, wasn't it?
It was. Very large automotive industry.
Wow.
But Jay Leno's name associated with that because he's such a part of our California car culture.
Absolutely, yeah.
For those who don't know of Jay Leno, which everybody knows the name Jay Leno, he's a comedian. Mm-hmm. He was The Tonight Show. Mm-hmm. He has his own car collection. He's never come out publicly and stated the value, but his car collection, people have estimated it anywhere between 50 and 100 million plus in just the vehicles. He also has a large motorcycle collection. I think it's up to 160 vintage motorcycles. So he is an avid
That's a lot of maintenance.
Car collector, absolutely. And he is engulfed here in California's car culture for sure.
Right. So why was it proposed?
It was proposed because you got to remember this was for collector cars. Collector cars, not everybody that has the collector cars are driving them on a daily basis, right? They may drive them to some local car shows, cars and coffees to show them off or short trips. But it was really to help the car collector culture so they wouldn't be tagged with having to adhere to these strict California emissions. You know, on a lot of these older vehicles, it's hard to keep up with the smog maintenance. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to find parts for these vehicles as they're 35 years and older, right?
Yeah, we're hearing also that a lot of the shops that could do the smog check for you, or they may not have the equipment for the older cars.
Right.
Or their equipment needs maintenance and repair because it is for older cars and it's older equipment. And so they have a higher cost to maintain. So they pass that along to the consumer. I mean, if I go and get a 2017 vehicle smog, which I did recently, it was $40.
Yeah.
But for an older vehicle, it could be $100, right?
Absolutely.
You got an older vehicle.
Yeah, I have a pre-runner
right?
Ford Ranger, and it's 1994. So because I'm not that 2000 model year and up, I have to pass a more stringent smog test here in our state where they say they put it on the roller. For those out of state, it's almost like if the truck goes on a dyno and they're testing it under load. You know, they're not just putting the sniffer in the tailpipe to see what's coming out the exhaust.
Right.
They're putting it under load.
Right.
Now, over the years, that's become a higher priced smog check. You know, years back, I remember it used to be like $69, $79. I think the last smog check I had on that.
All the cars had to go on a roller.
Oh, yeah. It's like $100.
Yeah.
And like you just said, it's getting tougher to find those shops.
Yeah, not every shop's got them.
That's right.
Right. So it's getting harder.
It is getting harder.
Now, it's getting harder for vehicles that they're not daily drivers, right?
That's right.
So these older cars that are 35 years and older typically are a collectible car or a third car in someone's home, or it's grandma's still hanging on to the car. She's still driving at 90.
Go grandma.
Go grandma, right? And so now she's got the burden of having to try to find a place that will get it smog at a higher cost. It just doesn't seem fair.
Right.
Especially when you consider how many vehicles there are on the road in California versus how many older cars there are on the road in California.
Right. It's in the big picture, it's pretty minute. We're not talking daily driver, habitual smog producing vehicles. What was it years back in California where you would turn it in if it wouldn't pass smog? A gross polluter.
Yeah, they used to call it that. Yeah.
These vehicles are very well maintained and taken care of. Obviously, there's value there, right? You know, most of them sit in a garage on a trickle charger covered with a car cover. Hey guys, have you ever wondered if you're leaving money on the table when selling your scrap catalytic converters? Well, we have a solution for you. We have a converter price guide with thousands of part numbers. Just use it, check it out. You can sign up today, have access for it today. See if you are leaving any money on the table, or keep the guy honest that you're selling to. You want to check it out, make sure you're making the most profits for your business in today's market. It's super simple, just click the link below, get started today. Now let's get back to the video.
So what are the options for car collectors?
You know, it varies. You know, it depends on model years. You know, that we have friends that have more recent exotic vehicles, and they're having to go out of state just for registration purposes. They'll go out of state, they'll create an LLC, and they'll register it. And we've been hearing the cost either for 5 years registration or for the life of the vehicle is typically less than what they're paying for the 1 year registration on that vehicle.
So it's burdensome, it's costly. It's kind of unnecessary because there's so few of them on the road.
Right.
And most of them are garaged.
Absolutely. You know, right now, currently in our state, the smog exemption is 1975 and older. Now, my kids know this because, you know, I love cars. I'm a car guy, right? So I'm always looking at cars and I'll yell out, I'll say a particular car, hey, check this out, this 74 911S. What's the best thing about that car? Smog exempt. They know.
That's what your kids say?
That's what the kids say because they know it's 75 and older. You know, if you have a 76 through 1980 and let's just say that vehicle came equipped from the factory with a carburetor, it's getting tougher and tougher to pass.
I thought you were going to use an example of a newer vehicle and, you know, they were going to say, oh, yeah, that's got an aftermarket on there. Versus an OEM converter.
The girls know that, yes. From you know, recycling catalytic converters for as long as we have, they know.
So the bill actually passed the Senate in early 25.
It did. It had a lot of traction, and like you said, it got a lot of backing, you know, and Jay Leno did an incredible job. You mentioned SEMA. You know, for those people that are watching that may not know what SEMA is, the breakdown, the acronym SEMA stands for Specialty Equipment Market Association. And every year they have a huge trade show. Have you ever been yet to a SEMA?
I'd like to.
It's held in Vegas every November. This year, 2025, it's November 4th through the 7th, but it's held at the Las Vegas Convention Center. So for people who haven't gone to the show, I tell them, have you ever been to a Disney park? And you know how much walking you do when you're there a full day at a Disney park? I always tell them, okay, well, multiply that by 5.
Oh, my God.
Because it is a huge facility.
That big.
They have vehicles outside the show that are outside the convention center, inside. But you got to remember, this is such a large community. I believe it's like 160,000 attendees that attend the SEMA show. There's over 140 countries that actually, you know, people travel from those countries just to come to the show.
So if SEMA threw their support behind the bill, that really indicates there was broad industry support.
Yes.
And a lot of people that are in the car collecting culture have thrown their support behind the bill as
Absolutely.
well. So it's kind of a recognition of the car culture in California then, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean,
If this would have gone through.
if it would have gone through, it didn't pass through here recently, but because of the backing and the support, I don't think this is going to die here. I think it's going to come back around, because I think when Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor, I think he stopped that. It was a rolling 30-year, and they would smog exempt vehicles.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was 20 years ago.
Well, yeah. I mean, when I was in high school, college, and now, it's still 1975 and older. They need to kind of get with it, because there's other states that have smog exemptions.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain states that, if you're not in that nucleus of suburban city, you're on the outskirts, they don't even require smog. So it's such a minute collector car volume, it's really not going to harm the environment.
So they were trying to remove the insurance requirement for collectible classic cars.
Yeah, that's a good point. There was a couple of, we'll call them hurdles they were throwing at it.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted the people with the collector cars to, one, get a collector car plate, and then they wanted you to have collector car insurance to prove that it's a collector car.
Well, that's more money then. Isn't it a collector
for the
plate?
yeah, because you got to pay DMV.
Oh, so it's fees.
So it's fees for the
it's
state.
about fees again.
Right. Yeah.
But not everyone considers their old 1994 vehicle that, like you drive, as a collector car.
Right.
That's not a collector car.
No.
No, you drive that to and from work because
It's a daily.
you like it.
Yeah, I don't want to put miles on the other cars, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just, I don't know, they're putting up hurdles, increasing cost,
Right.
making it harder to find a place that has working equipment. You might have to go to 3 or 4 shops before you find one. That's a waste of your time. And
Right.
that's crazy.
And then the sad thing is eventually, these cars won't be able to pass smog, right? So then what happens? Then they sell them, they go out of state.
Now, isn't that what's happening now?
Some collectors just hang on to them, and they'll non-op them to where technically they're not allowed to be on the road. They're not registered. They're not a registered vehicle to be driven on public streets.
Now, some of the truly classic cars, maybe some car collectors have got lots of cars. I hear that they take them to other states and register them out of state. Yet the car is here in California. Weren't you telling me that there was a recent car show and there was something going on there that they were getting flagged and checked?
Yeah, it was Car Week here, up in Monterey.
Right.
But you get all the exotic vehicles that, the owners live here in California, but like I was saying, they register them out of state.
Mm-hmm.
They, create an LLC and they get them registered there, and the fees are way less than what.
So they got their out-of-state plates on them.
So they get out-of-state plates, but a lot of them were getting hassled. I heard I had friends up there that were there, and
those guys, they're not necessarily exhibiting cars at that. They're driving a classic car to the meet.
They're there with a new car, whether McLaren, Porsche,
whatever.
Lamborghini, Ferrari, whatever, and they have it registered out of state. To save money, to save cost.
Right.
Yeah, they were getting hassled. But
what was happening?
They just would come up to them and this is what I wasn't there, but this is what I was hearing, that they would hassle them and try to write them up for something.
Oh, you mean like the police department or the highway patrol or somebody? Yeah.
Now you always get the ding dongs that are out there trying to do drifting or burnouts, but that's a different story. But the people that are just there parked or driving the vehicles, it seemed like what my friend told me, that they were kind of singling those individuals out.
So really, at the crux of this thing is, this is focused on classic cars, which we all look at them as cultural treasures, right? They're not daily commuters.
That's right.
So, they're not producing tremendous emissions,
No, because
but
they're
they're
not
being held
out
to
on
the
the
same
road
standards
on the daily.
as the daily drivers.
Correct.
And it's getting harder. It's getting more expensive. The exemptions from 75 and back are still in existence, but they're not updating them.
No.
No, they're not updating them. But other states are allowing exemptions.
Yeah, they have collector car exemptions.
And I guess it just doesn't align with, the regulations coming into more common sense. It just doesn't seem like they align.
Yeah.
Does it?
No.
You think the fight's going to continue?
I do. Because California, it's such an enriched car culture. I mean, every weekend there's a Cars and Coffee. You can go and look at old collector cars, exotic cars, everything in between. There's always something going on here.
Yeah, there's always something going on here. And interesting thing about our climate is that these older vehicles, they survive.
Yeah.
They don't rust out.
No, it's not like the East Coast.
Right. It's not
And,
like the East Coast.
we have beautiful weather.
Right.
There's certain payoffs. There's certain things that we have to live with because we live here, but it is a beautiful state.
So, we should really try to support our heritage, our car culture heritage. I mean, even if you look at movies, film, music, right?
Oh, yeah. It's part of the
It's
American
all part
history.
of the fabric
Yes.
of America, right?
Absolutely.
And we should try to look for ways to support our car culture, not penalize people that are holding on to older vehicles, and they've got the added expense of maintaining them, right?
Oh, yeah.
And insuring them, though they're not driving them much. And there should be some common sense that aligns with regulations in this space. I hope that we're going to see this revived and have a greater push forward.
Me too. Well, if you guys didn't know what Jay Leno's law was, hopefully you got a little bit of an update on that specific SB 712 bill, why it was proposed, and the people that were backing it. Now, I want to send a message to everybody watching this video that is in the catalytic converter industry, whether you're a seller, a buyer, a processor. I encourage you to watch our last podcast. This new law will affect the catalytic converter recycling future.